Hey guys, Travis Gillespie here. Today we're going to learn about 3 different types of properties that are useful, and they're going to be useful to you in math. So this first one that I'm writing down, it's called the commutative property. You might hear some people call this the commutative property of addition, so I'm going to write down addition here. And some people call it the commutative property of addition or multiplication. So we've got 2 different types of operations that can be used when dealing with the commutative property. I'm going to come back to this in just a little bit. What I want to do is just create a little table so that we can see the other types of properties we're going to look at. The next one that you're going to look at, let's go ahead and just finish this table off here. And the next one I'm going to write in a different color. This next one we call the associative property, so let's get that one on the screen. And this one, again, some people call it the associative property of addition or multiplication. So I'm going to put that you can either add or multiply here. And then I'll come back to this one as well. I'm going to move forward to the next one in just one second. Let's go ahead and fix these eyes and finish off our table. And the last one on the screen that I'm going to write about, this last one is known as the distributive property. Now, you might see addition when you're working with the distributive property, but one of the big focuses here is multiplication. So I'm just going to write multiplication down. Go ahead and put dots on those eyes. Let's go back to the commutative property. Okay, cool. Before we move forward, I just want to get some space on the screen and talk about when do these properties come in handy. Well, in math, what happens a lot of the times is people become reliant on their calculator. They look for their calculator to solve a lot of problems. However, a lot of problems in math can be done mentally, or we call it mental math. You can use your head to break the problem up into simple chunks and just use logic. Okay, so we're going to use logic to solve the problems using the commutative, associative, and distributive properties. Let's go ahead and look at the commutative property. The commutative property, we know that this commutative property, it only works with addition or multiplication, but it doesn't work with subtraction or division. And it comes in handy when you're trying to order information or rearrange numbers. So it works with ordering numbers or basically moving those numbers around. So we'll put moving down here. And a good example to keep in mind when you're thinking about the commutative property is think about mom and dad. If mom and dad have to drive to work, sometimes you might hear that they have to commute to work. Well, if they're driving from the house, if you live in downtown Austin, or if you live in Austin and they work downtown, they've got to commute from the house to downtown Austin. So let's get a problem up on the screen. We'll say, let's just say 17 plus 5, and we're going to add 3 and add 15 to that. Okay, so I've got these 3 numbers, and you know, right off the bat, maybe someone wants to grab a calculator to solve this problem. Oh no, there's 4 numbers, I need to get a calculator. And the reason is, maybe it's not that there's 4 numbers, maybe it's because some of the numbers are kind of big. But what we can do, just get it back up on the screen, we can use mental math to help us solve for this problem. So the thing I want to do is reorder the numbers or commute the numbers so that I can make the math simple. Okay, so I'm going to ask myself, what numbers work well together? Well, I know 5 and 3 is easy to add, but 17 and 15 aren't so hot or easy to work with. So I can actually see if I were to take, let's reorder this so that I am still going to start with 17. I'll start with that big number, fix that one a little bit. So we have 17, and this time I want to add 3 to it, because 3 plus 7 gives us a nice, easy number to work with. All right, so we have 17 plus 3, and then that just leaves me with 5 and 15. And 5 and 15 go well together, So I can put these together. So 5 plus 15. Now some of you guys might have already solved this problem in your head, but if we think about it, we've commuted the numbers around, we've reordered them, and from here all we have to do is basically you can group numbers together to add them. So we know that 17 plus 3, that's going to give you a value of 20, and 5 plus 15 gives you a value of 20, and 20 plus 20 gives us a value of 40. Cool stuff.